One ability with Avi is to scale the capacity of the service engines or the load balancers should they run out of capacity, such as CPU. With Avi, this is pretty easy. If you have traffic coming into one service engine and the traffic that comes in exceeds the capacity of that service engine, then the controller will recognize this and has the ability to either pull in existing service engines that have capacity or spin up new service engines if we need. Traffic will still be attracted or ARPed to the service engine 1 in this case, which will be the primary. When that traffic is received on the interface on service engine 1, it will then load balance 1/3 of the traffic to SE2, another third to SE3, and then it will take about a third or so of that traffic and send it to itself. At those service engines, that's where the TCP connection will be terminated, HTTP, SSL, whatever the protocol might be on top of that. Those service engines then snap the traffic, forward it onto the servers. The servers can respond back to the service engine that sent them the traffic, and those SEs will then forward traffic back directly to clients on the internet or the clients that made the request. So this way, only the inbound packets and the SYNs and the ACKs, etc., are going to be going through these service engines in the middle of the service engine 1. All of the response packets or the push data is then going to be going through the second, third, etc. service engines. This allows Avi to scale out very nicely and very natively without any extra effort. If, however, you need to exceed the capacity of something like this, because eventually your service engine 1 in the middle will become the bottleneck, Avi does have the ability to push that out to an upstream router using eCMP. So with this method, then the Avi controller can then talk to the router or talk to an environment or a cloud such as Google Cloud or another public cloud, or even in some cases something like Cisco ACI, to be able to perform this task. And this allows us to scale out upwards of 64 service engines for a single application, which allows you to get multi-terabit of throughput and thousands, if not millions, of SSL transactions per second off of how many service engines you may require. So doing this in Avi is pretty easy. If you go to the virtual service, and we can go and say scale out. Avi can be deployed in a mode where the controller automatically detects that the CPU or other parameters are becoming a bottleneck. So in this case, if I go and drill into my performance score, and I can go into the resource penalty, and it's going to show me that I'm starting to incur a bit of a penalty because I'm running my CPU up to 100% on this service engine. So if I was deployed in autoscale mode, it automatically would have scaled that for me. There wouldn't be a whole lot to demo though. So in this case, this system is set up and deployed in a mode where I have to manually scale out, which basically requires that I hit this button. Now I can tell it that I specifically want to scale out to another service engine, or I can tell it that I want to create a new one, or I can just let it figure it out on its own. So if there's another service engine already available that it wants to use, it can pick that up pretty quickly. If it needs to spin up a new one, it may take anywhere from 90 seconds to a couple of minutes, depending upon if it's SSD or disk. But once this is spun up, I've now got 2 service engines that I can be running in an active mode like this. And I can keep scaling out to 3 to 4, etc. as I need to increase capacity. So the point of this is that you're still just managing a single application or a single virtual service, not necessarily managing individual service engines. So I just simply look at my application, it looks green and happy, and what you're going to see is as these additional service engines come online, the health score of this application is going to start floating higher because the performance penalties goes away and the resource penalty goes away. Straightforward, easy to do.